Hi, I am Reverend Allie Hutchinson. I'm a staff minister at Oakland CSL. My pronouns are she and they, and I will be your host tonight for our Wednesday night Oasis service. Oasis is a place where we come together as a community to get a little bit of spiritual nourishment midweek. Most Wednesday night services build on the theme of the previous Sunday, sharing science of mind principles and practices with the intention that these gatherings be informal, intimate, and interactive. Our annual theme for 2025 in CSL is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. And we're continuing tonight with the monthly theme for March, one more night. And that theme is the flow of coming and going. Last Sunday, religious science practitioner Christopher Brown introduced ideas inspired by this week's theme, Blossoming in the Swaying. And tonight, our speaker will continue the exploration of that topic. If you're new to our community or new to watching our recording, please visit our website at oaklandcsl.org. If you click on the I'm New icon and look at the lower left-hand corner, you can submit your email address. And once you do, you'll start getting our weekly newsletter, The Village News. And it will have all the information that you need to know what's happening at our center in the coming weeks. Before we start the talk, please mute your microphone if it's not already muted. That will help us to improve the quality of our recording and tonight's transmission. And you can leave your camera on if you like. And finally, please stay tuned through the end of the service to hear several important announcements. Our speaker tonight is Judith Roberts, religious science practitioner. Judith has been a licensed practitioner with the Centers for Spiritual Living for over 10 years. She's a sound healer, a student of shamanism, and she's been certified in a number of healing modalities. Professionally, she is a technical writer, an instructional designer, and a trainer. From a young age, she has known that she was here as an agent of transformation, and she draws a lot of inspiration from the natural world, which I think you will see tonight. So thank you in advance for being our speaker tonight. But first, we always start with prayer, so I will invite our religious science practitioner emerita, Dorothy Mendez, to do our opening prayer.
Okay. So let's just all take a deep breath and just exhale. One more deep breath. Breathing in, hold it, and just release all that no longer serves us at this point in time. For we are knowing that right where we are, the power and the presence of God abides. Knowing that God is truly our source and our sufficiency in all things, regardless of the appearances of things. We know that we are grounded and surrounded in that love and in that light that is God. And I know and bless each and every one on this call, those who are coming, those who were unable to come but want to be here. I am knowing that each one of us is enriched by the words that our speaker, Judith Roberts, speaks to us today. That we are enlightened by these words, and it is truly transforming and renewing for each and every one of us. I bless each and every one of us, knowing that we are truly grounded in that love, in that light that is God. And I know that this service is already complete in the mind of God, and we are truly transformed and renewed by the words that are being spoken to us today. We are open at the top to receive all the good that God has for each and every one of us today. So I am blessing this service and I am blessing our speaker and knowing that we are truly, truly transformed and renewed by her words today. So I am knowing for each and every one of us that we are truly in our right and perfect place. And we just say, thank you, Mother, Father, God, for this and for the more. And if you agree, please join me in saying, and so it is.
It is. Amen.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dorothy. That was beautiful. And I will just turn this over now to our speaker, Judith Roberts.
Thank you. Thank you for your introduction, Reverend Ellie, and thank you, Dorothy, for that beautiful prayer. And I just already feel enriched. So anyway, I was given a topic tonight that I find intriguing. I actually, as a speaker, I can speak on anything. I don't have to stick to the topic that I am given, but I liked this topic, and I think you may find it intriguing as well. The topic is blossoming in the swaying. And in talking with one friend about this, she said, well, I think of swaying as swaying to music, or, she thinks of it as a time of enjoyment and relaxation. And I said, well, yeah, that's one kind, or maybe swaying in a reverie, or swaying, maybe you're even kind of transported. Maybe you're even in a state of bliss. But I'm speaking tonight to a different kind of swaying. And that is when you sway, or we sway in the midst of uncertainty. Or we might feel like we're knocked off our feet a little bit, or there's tumult, or we feel like the ground is moving under us. I've actually been in that experience with an earthquake where you just feel shaken. Or you might feel jolted by news. You might feel like your world has been turned upside down. So it's that kind of swaying when you're kind of off balance. And yet we're talking about blossoming in the swaying. In most of those situations that I've just talked about, we think about, making it through, or shouldering our way through it, getting through it. But this is talking about actually blossoming in the midst of all of that. Is it possible? And yes, it is. And we probably have all experienced it at some time in our lives. So I'm talking about that possibility. And to enter into this topic, I'm going to first talk about a couple of examples from nature. One of my friends recently, we were talking about this topic, and she gave me the example. She said, I'm going to quote her. She said, a little tree I planted a couple of years ago outgrew its stakes. And she asked an arborist, or someone who was helping her with landscaping. She said, I think I need to restake the tree. And the person replied, oh no, if you stake it and it's stationary, it doesn't learn to bend with the wind. But if you just leave it, naturally it will develop the strength to bend in the wind, and the fibers grow stronger. And I thought that was so prescient for us to remember, what we resist persists, that if we are with what is happening and allow it to grow us, allow ourselves to be in the situation and respond to it in the moment and make the right choices in the moment, we actually grow and blossom. Another example that I want to talk about from nature that I think is instructive for us is the metamorphosis of a butterfly. So I have a couple of slides that I want to show of the metamorphosis of a butterfly. Freddie, can you bring up the first slide? So this slide, on the left, we have the caterpillar. And then in the middle slide is the caterpillar actually forming its chrysalis. It sheds its skin, and somehow it creates this chrysalis. And the picture on the right is a picture of a monarch's chrysalis. This picture doesn't do it justice. I have seen these in person and watched this process. and they're deep green, and they have these gold flecks, these brilliant gold flecks around the top and then around the bottom. You can barely see those gold flecks here. They're really beautiful. And so inside this chrysalis is where this transformation happens. Can you go to the next slide, Freddie? And this is the process. Inside the chrysalis, the body of the caterpillar turns to mush. It's just somebody has opened them and found that out. It's just mush inside. And but somehow that mush retained the DNA. It retained the memory of what was supposed to happen. And gradually, this butterfly forms inside, and the chrysalis does become clear like that. Like this middle picture at the top. I've actually seen that, where I could actually see the wings of the butterfly inside. And then it gradually tries to break out of the chrysalis and then hang on to it while it's drying its wings, and then gradually spread its wings. And can you go to the next slide now, Freddie? So this is a picture of it emerging from the chrysalis. And this second paragraph here is what I wanted to emphasize, that as the butterfly emerges, the struggle helps to pump fluid into its wings, strengthening them for flight. Similar to that little tree bending in the wind when it's unstaked and strengthening its fibers. Can you go to the next slide, Freddie? So once it emerges, it hangs there and dries its wings for a little while, and there may be other chrysalises, or maybe it's pronounced chrysali. I don't know the plural, but it hangs there and dries its wings until it's ready to fly. And then the next slide, and this is the last one. And then here it is, it flies. Some of them, of course, you probably know, migrate long distances. There's a super race that is created every 5 generations or something, and they travel from the Midwest to Mexico. But this transformation, I think, and thank you, Freddie, you can close the slide or stop sharing now. But I think this process of being in the chrysalis, somehow kind of fighting its way out, and that fluid, the fluid pumping through to strengthen its wings, must be a difficult process. It must be a difficult process, but ultimately it strengthens the butterfly and strengthens the wings so that it can fly, so that it can blossom. And I think that what happens to us is often very similar to that process, that we ourselves are sometimes find ourselves in what might feel like a chrysalis. And I'm going to talk about one experience from my own life. And then after I might share one or two, I'm not sure. And then I'm going to invite us to go into breakout rooms with 2 people in a room and share an example of how you have blossomed while swaying, or blossomed in the midst of a big challenge. And what are some of the things that enabled you to do that? And then we'll come back to the larger group and share those things, because there's inspiration to be gained from hearing each other's stories and hearing what served us in the midst of those challenges. So one that I'm going to share from my life is that many years ago, I was in what I would call an existential crisis. I was really struggling, and there wasn't anything external that was causing it. And it wasn't depression. It was something else. I think I would say it was on the level of the soul. And I had a teacher at the time, and I saw him from time to time during this period. And I received a message from him that was not verbal. It was a nonverbal message, but it was very clear. And the message was, you can make it. You can make it. Just take the next step. Just take the next step. Just put one foot in front of the other. And it took some time. It took a while. But that encouragement really helped to pull me through. And I got through it. And sometime after that, not too long after that, after going through some training, he made me an instructor of his, which was really a wonderful experience. And it was a volunteer experience, but it was really, really just something I enjoyed so much. And actually it was an honor at the time. I think I will share one other experience that kind of is an example of this. It's a very different experience. And that was that when I was in middle school, I didn't have any self-confidence. I'm not going to go into the story and the reasons, but I didn't have any self-confidence. And I was really kind of on the out crowd, just fringy. And I would hole up in the library and read all the time because I really didn't know how to socialize. And I did have a few friends. I developed a few friendships, but one of the ways that lack of confidence exhibited was that in sports, um, I didn't have any confidence in sports. And when the volleyball came to me, I would duck instead of, set it for somebody else or send it over the net. I would duck. And in softball, I would be last picked on a team. And I couldn't hit the ball, or if I did, I never hit it well. And then for when we were outfield, I'd be in the farthest outfield, and if a ball came to me, I would usually miss it. I just wasn't doing well at all with sports. But as time went on, and this is part of the growth process, I grew and I went into high school and I, developed more friendships and gained more confidence. And then at my senior year of high school, I was elected president of the Girls Athletic Association. And it was a huge school. It was 2,000 students. And so the Girls Athletic Association was really big. I don't remember how many there were, but it was a big organization. And I represented the school in for other events in that capacity. And I was a good athlete. I wasn't exceptional, but I was a good athlete, and I competed in doubles badminton, and I was a good tennis player, and I also did modern dance at that time. So I blossomed. I went through this period of kind of like being in the chrysalis, confined and uncomfortable. And then just with time, blossomed from that. And I want to have us, as we go into these breakout rooms, think about, well, what helped me to blossom? What helped me to blossom in the swaying? What were the resources or the tools or what helped me to move forward in the midst of something that was challenging and uncomfortable? So with that, I would like to invite Freddie to send us into breakout rooms in two. You don't have to go into a breakout room. If you want to stay in the main room, that's fine. But I think this can be a rich conversation. And what you come up with in your breakout room can benefit all of us if you choose to share. And that, of course, is also optional. So Freddie?
So I think Maggie might be by herself.
You could put her in with Judith and with Bonnie and bring Judith back out.
Okay.
And then look like Judith Frownglass and Lula haven't been sent yet.
Okay, let's see.
I don't know why.
Because I said no.
Oh, you didn't want to. Got it.
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Okay, I'll move her in with Bonnie into room 2.
Yeah. I'm assuming Judith will come back out and tell us to close the rooms when she's ready.
Hi, you okay?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was calling to see how you're doing and what your trigger
Freddie, are you there?
I'm
You-
here.
Yeah, I think we can bring people back now.
All right. So the rooms will close in 1 minute.
Okay. Can you make it earlier, sooner than one?
It's too late.
I think yeah, it did give me an
Okay,
option
1
to
minute.
just close them, but
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
mhm. But they'll be back in 40 seconds.
So Judith didn't want to go in a room?
No,
Did
we
Louis,
lost. We
did Louis,
lost folks.
did Louis go in a room?
No, we lost Lewis and oh, I can't remember the woman's name. Starts with an E. I don't know her. She had joined, and Lula.
Well, I just had a challenge with the topic actually.
Mm.
Well, I sat there and it was ready to go in, and I said, I can't find one. So I'll wait and listen.
I see Freya here.
Hey,
Yeah,
Fred.
we lost a few. Oh, people are still coming in. I see.
Yeah.
Bonnie's back. Maggie's back.
I'm here.
Hey.
Dorothy.
Oh, there's Freya. Hi, Freya.
Hi. Oh, hi, Maggie.
Hi, I love that picture of you in the woods.
I think we got
That's great.
everybody.
Yeah, the redwoods. So is that it, all of us?
I think so.
We lost somebody because we had
What
more
about
before.
Dorothy?
You-
Dorothy's there.
Dorothy's here. We lost a couple of people.
She doesn't have her speaker
Three.
or Zoom on. Yeah,
Oh.
we were 11 and now we are 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few people dropped off, I guess. Okay. Well, welcome back.
Go find those people.
everybody.
I'll be
They're
right
lost.
Hi,
They're
Bonnie.
Hey,
How
how
wonderful.
are you?
It's so wonderful to see you.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here. Yes, yes, yes.
We have missed you.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Judith. It's Maggie.
Hi, Maggie.
Oh,
Hi.
Dr.
We're
Judith.
One of the Judiths.
So
Oh,
now
that's
that
we have
we're
2 of them. Huh?
now that we're back from our breakout rooms, I know I heard a beautiful story of blossoming in the swaying. And I just wanted to invite some stories and also some tools, things that helped you get through the challenge. Would anybody like to start? You can raise your real hand or your virtual hand.
Yes.
Is it okay to talk about I wanted to talk about butterflies and migrating butterflies actually, which is an example that of story that I've heard about, which is there are some butterflies that they where they have landed and been living, they get off on their migration and they don't make it. They get there and then they reproduce and then they keep going. And so it's like their grandchildren who finally get it to the place where they're aimed at. And that is such an example of perseverance and knowing and connection to spirit and knowing, trusting the outcome.
Yeah.
So even though that it's not quite what you were talking about, that's what came up in the vision of them. They just carry on.
Yeah.
Long migrations, thousands of miles.
Yeah.
Dr. Judith, would you say that again? I'm not quite following it. You said some of the butterflies.
There's a certain species, the ones that go to
From Mexico to Canada.
thank you. Yeah, the monarchs.
It's the third generation. They'll fly from like the Midwest to Texas, and then they'll have another generation, and those will fly a little bit further south. And I think it's the third generation is like a super species, super race. And the third generation will fly thousands of miles to the place in Mexico where they winter. The monarch
The monarch also comes to Monterey in October.
Oh, that's the reverse.
Yes, they
That's
do.
the reverse migration.
Don't forget them.
Yeah.
That's part of their
Another
journey.
place
That's the
here.
reverse when they take that journey. That's the
Yeah.
second half of it. They go back the other way. Yeah.
So it sounds like a tag team, like a
Yes.
relay
A
race.
relay race.
It's like, I'm going to fly from here to Texas, and then you take it from Texas down to, whatever part of Mexico, then I'll take it to the last part of Mexico. Sounds like a tag team or relay.
It's right near Mexico City, relatively.
Yeah,
mount-
Judith
in the
and I
mountains.
explored that option, so it's close.
So I have one more and one more thing that I heard in a sermon some years ago, and it was about someone who's watching a butterfly, and that's a kind of a lesson for me. Is watching this butterfly in the chrysalis trying to get out, and this person not knowing what they needed to know about butterflies, decided to help.
Bad.
So they went and they helped, and the butterfly could not get its struggle. Its struggle was what
makes it
what
strong.
allowed it to be
Gives it
who
strength.
it was in the end. The
And
strength
helps it dry
of
off.
and helps it dry off, all of that. And so that story is a big lesson for me in whatever I look at. It's
Thank you.
don't get someone to. I think maybe in my own past I have tried to help someone who is struggling, and actually maybe someone tried to help me when I was struggling through something, and it's not always for the best interest, even though the intention is quite excellent, but it's not doesn't work out that way, because it's better to. It's such a strange thing to think. It's not anymore, it isn't, but then it was. It's such a strange thing to think about. Struggling is great,
Well, you have to go through the process.
Yeah, and it's like it's great to struggle. Yay, bring on the struggles. But actually today, I think that I actually am in that place right now. Bring on the struggles. I am up to it.
Good for you.
This is why I thought the hardest part of parenting was when the kids were in their early 20s, because you just have to kind of step back,
Wow.
Let them make mistakes.
Yeah.
Well,
instead of giving them the benefit of your, whatever your benefit would be.
Yeah, you got just a few little nudges here and there, right?
Yeah. I'm complete. I better stop talking.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and in one of the slides I had, it talked about how when it's struggling to get out of the chrysalis, it pumps makes their heart pump, and it pumps energy into their wings, and it strengthens their wings. The struggle actually strengthens their body and their wings.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judith. Yeah, it's an amazing process, and it's a good one that we can learn from. Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody else?
I have one that came to mind. It's not exactly blossoming, but I've told this story before in a talk I gave once. But as a kid, we used to drive from South Louisiana to Florida to visit my sister often, and it was right after the huge hurricane went through Biloxi, Mississippi. As you drove along the beach, there was one stretch where there were these enormous oak trees. They're the kind that are like 15 feet around, and they looked like a washcloth that had just been twisted. The trunks were just like corkscrews, right? But they hadn't fallen over. And I remember at the time thinking, wow, their roots must be like really, really deep. And then I did a little research when I did that talk and found out they're not deep, they're interconnected with each other.
Oh.
So there's no way one could get knocked over. And I'm thinking about that lately with, we have some interesting things going on in the world. And the thing that's coming to mind is just strengthening every bit of community that we can strengthen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more we can support each other, the better.
Yeah.
I love that expression. United we stand, but divided we fall. And
Mm.
it's definitely a time to embrace that. Judith, should I share my
Yes.
Yes.
my story? Not story, my life experience. How's that?
Yeah.
When I was young, and for a long time, and sometimes even now, but when I was younger, I stuttered really badly, really badly. And I remember being in grade school, and grade school kids love to really rub it in, whatever your differences are. And so my difference was that I stuttered, and I stuttered really badly, but I had speech therapy. And for some reason, I never let it stop me from pursuing my goal, my dream to have been a registered nurse. And think about, you have to call doctors and explain lots of things and in medical terminology. But when I was in nursing school, I thought, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'm going to be able to call doctors and get this information to them. But I was able to do it. I could call a doctor, and I would think sometimes in the back of my head, you should be stuttering now. This word that's coming up is usually a word that I can put in stuttering, those different things, and you can
Triggers.
read. Well, no, it's called the way your speech isn't fluent. Like you could block, like you go, it's blocked, or you could prolong, like, and so there's different patterns of the way the stuttering can come up. And I was able to just get through those conversations. And I remember even giving a presentation to a group of nurses thinking, oh, I just hope I don't stutter, praying that I don't stutter. And I remember getting through it. And for me, what helped, I feel now, and when I look back, that it was just divine guidance. I was living my life on purpose. And it's like my voice is my gift. My voice is what brings healing to others. I was just, with the family today that had just lost someone. And the fact that I stuttered, but I didn't let it stop me. I never let it stop me. And I just feel that I know that it's my gift. I mean, even now, I do a weekly broadcast that's international, and it's like my voice is there. And if I do feel a stuttering coming on now, I can just be with it. I can really just be with it. It's like, okay, if that got repeated, okay, that's okay, because I realize we all have periods of not being fluent, or some words can cause us a little bit of a challenge. So for me, I just feel that I've been living on purpose, that the divine Holy Spirit is just guiding me to continue to give my gifts to the world. And so I just offer that to say, if you know anyone that stutters, or just continue, don't give up. So
Thank you.
story. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. That's so beautiful. And
It is.
we were in the breakout room together, and I told her I had no idea that she had ever stuttered. No
Same
idea.
here.
And this
Was just not
I would
anywhere,
never have imagined it.
never
Yeah.
occurred to me. No.
Yeah, I still have periods of not being fluent, but it has no power over me. That's
Yes.
say it
No.
doesn't have any energy anymore. It's like, oh, okay, you said that word 3 times, or you got blocked on that word. It was a minute to get it out. And I must say, I've learned tricks to make it look like, if I can't get, put your hand over your mouth or cough,
Oh,
cough.
But Bonnie,
wait,
I
Maggie,
oh,
we need to move on now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Bonnie, thank you so much for sharing that. I want to ask if there's anyone else that would like to share a story and some of the tools that helped you get through and helped you to blossom in the swaying. We have Freya and Dorothy. Anybody else?
I have something very tiny.
Okay.
someone else.
Going through chiropractic school, and what got me through was a group of people. So it's always community. This community was other students that we studied together.
Mhm.
And I think on my own, I could not have done it. Not because I wasn't smart enough, but because I didn't have the discipline. So with these people, we would having a community to move with me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Judith. Thank you. And we're coming towards the end here. I want to share a couple of other things.
Judith, before you
yeah.
move on, I think Maggie wanted to say something. I think Maggie was going to share something. Maggie, or did you?
There's
Yeah.
not time. It's okay. I was just going to say to you that to me, it shows your strength
Oh,
that you can go through the stuttering and not worry about it, and that it doesn't have control over you. It's just incredible. I'm totally blown away by it. I'm so impressed. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Maggie. So some of the things we've heard about our community, reaching out to friends, knowing what your purpose is and staying true to your purpose, which is what Bonnie said.
Mhm.
Feeling divine guidance.
Yeah.
Tuning into that divine guidance. Another thing, there's something else that I think is can help a lot, and that is humor. Not
Oh,
not taking ourselves too seriously in the
right.
middle of it all. And I'm going to share a quote with you. I've shared this one before, but I really like this one. This is Mark Twain. And he said, I think probably most of us can relate to this. He said, I've suffered a great many catastrophes in my life, most of which never happened.
Ah,
Right.
love it.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You know, they're in our minds. And speaking of that, speaking of the mind, there's a quote here, and I think Christopher in his talk on last Sunday
Yeah.
may have brought this one up, but I really like it. This is Shakespeare, and
Mhm.
it's from Hamlet. And he said, for there is nothing either good or bad,
Oh,
but
yeah.
thinking makes it so.
Mm.
And when I looked it up online, and they gave a little explanation of that, what it meant. This is somebody's, description of what that is really saying. And they said, each experience presents an infinite number of interpretations. So it's our interpretation of the experience that can cause us suffering.
Yes.
And so if we can stay in the moment with exactly what is happening and tune into ourselves and just be with what it is, like the little caterpillar who turns to mush and then
Yeah.
emerges and struggles to get out of that chrysalis, or the little plant that develops its strength and its fibers bending in the wind.
Mm.
Yeah.
When be in the moment and be with that, that is really key. I also have another quote. This is Thich Nhat Hanh again. And this one is a little bit perhaps not exactly relevant, but it is relevant. He says, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
I like that. So I'm going to close.
One tiny thing about in the Book of Joy, about the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Tutu, a week that they spent together some years back. And in Joy, the first one of the eight ways is called perspective. And that's, if you can't change the situation, if I can't change a situation, I can widen, or I can deepen, or I can shift my perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Wayne Dyer says something to that effect.
Yeah, I mean, many people have said it in many ways, but the key, the kind of the gist of it is to be present, that there is no future. The past is past. The future isn't here yet. We're in the present. Be in the present. Be with the present, and just be with it. There's a lot here about acceptance. And it's not just acceptance of the circumstance, it's self-acceptance. And then being able to be still enough to receive guidance to know what to do in the moment, in the circumstance. It's not saying don't take action, but it's saying be in the moment, be still, receive guidance, and go with that. Oh, so I'm going to close with a poem by Hafez,
Oh,
which is really speaking to the blossoming that we're talking about. I love this poem. He says, I sometimes forget that I was created for joy. My mind is too busy, my heart is too heavy for me to remember that I have been called to dance the sacred dance of life. I was created to smile, to love, to be lifted up, and to lift others up. O sacred one, untangle my feet from all that ensnares. Free my soul, that we might dance, and that our dancing might be contagious.
Oh, oh,
Nice.
oh, that is wonderful. Thank you.
Again, I'm so sorry. Read it once more.
Okay, one more time.
One more time.
Yeah, and I want to note here about untangling my feet. Because when we're in the midst of these upheavals and tumult and or chaos or feeling like the ground is shaking underneath us, that can be like our feet are tangled or and ensnared. I just want to call out that line, and I'm gonna read it one more time. I sometimes forget that I was created for joy. My mind is too busy. My heart is too heavy for me to remember that I have been called to dance the sacred dance of life. I was created to smile, to love, to be lifted up, and to lift others up. O sacred one, untangle my feet from all that ensnares. Free my soul, that we might dance, and that our dancing might be contagious.
Ah,
All right.
Beautiful.
that
And
last
so
line.
it is, and so it is.
Oh, it is.
And
Wow.
let's give Judith some love. That was great tonight.
Yes, yes.
It's
yes.
almost 8 o'clock. Freddie is letting us know we're gonna
Yes,
run
yes,
overtime,
okay.
so
Okay.
And
let's
we
go.
are
Thank you,
moving-
Judith, for everything.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
So, moving into our announcements. This Sunday, April 6th, Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman will be speaking on enriching our soil of possibilities. The meditation starts at 10 and the service is at 10:30. And then on Wednesday at the Oasis, Reverend Deb Hammond, religious science practitioner, will do an encore conversation on that same topic. It's meditation at 6:30, service at 7 on Zoom. Our daily readers for 2025 are 365 Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes, and Daily Gratitude Reflections, Volume 2 by Deborah Perdue. So please join us in these daily affirmations. Also, the Ministry of Prayer is doing their Friday night happy hour this Friday. They do it weekly on Friday nights, except for the fourth Friday of the month. Practitioners Maureen French and Megan Lemon are inviting you to anchor your week in prayer with your spiritual community. You can visit oaklandcsl.org on the events page to get the link and the passcode 123456. The Women's Spiritual Empowerment Group is having their final session in their 6-week session Sunday, this Sunday after the service, 12:45 to 2:15 in the sanctuary, and all are welcome. The OCSL Social Justice Ministry meets on the first Sunday of the month, so this Sunday, April 6th, in the Social Hall from 1 to 3, and you can join us in sacred activism to create a world that works for everyone. Season for Nonviolence concludes this Friday, April 4th, which commemorated the anniversaries of the deaths and celebrated the lives of Mohandas Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. There are 2 more weeks in Lent, March 5th to April 17th. Choose something that distracts you from staying grounded and fast from it during this Lenten time. Pray for greater groundedness, focus, and serenity. Agape Bay Area is presenting Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, Building Bridges, this Saturday, April 5th, 10 a.m. to 1:30 at the First Congregational Church of Oakland. And you can visit agapebayarea.com for more details and to buy tickets. And please get out your calendars and save the dates for May 7th. Brother Ishmael Tete live and in person at OCSL for a
Oh,
special Wednesday midweek oasis. It will be in person and live streamed. It'll start a little bit early, 5:30 meditation, and the service will be from 6 to 7:30, followed by a book signing. And then save the date for June 21st. The fabulous Lisa Ferraro and Tammy Hall in our Oakland CSL 80th anniversary concert. Our community potlucks continue with Potluck and Bring a Friend Sunday, the fourth Sunday of each month. The next one is April 27th. And if you want more information or would like to volunteer for setup and cleanup, contact Deborah Jackson. You can email her at deborah@oaklandcsl.org. And reminder that we are celebrating our happy 80th anniversary at Oakland CSL this year. The gala will be September 20th. Our nonprofit partner for March and April is the New Bridge Foundation, a nonprofit, non-medical addiction treatment facility with over 50 years of experience. You can visit New Bridge Foundation for more information. I'm sorry, newbridgefoundation.org. The Spirit Treasure Bookstore in April is offering a 30% discount on everything Science of Mind. And you can also visit our website at oaklandcsl.org to sign up for our weekly newsletter, The Village News. You can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And while you're there, please like and subscribe to Oakland Center. And finally, you can visit oaklandcsl.org to see what's happening within our Centers for Spiritual Living global organization. And now is the time when we transition to conscious giving time. Conscious giving is a celebration, an expression of gratitude, and a spiritual practice. In giving, we celebrate our community, express gratitude for everyone who gives of their time, talent, and treasure to sustain it. We acknowledge our place in the flow of universal power and abundance and put all of our intentions for a greater experience of abundance into action. And in that spirit, please follow along as I read our giving affirmation. And if you're muted, please feel free to read out loud. I freely give
what I have,
and divine source
and the divine source
multiplies it
in
in
return.
return. And if you would like to donate, you can go to our website, oaklandcsl.org, click on the donate button, and it will bring you to the page that gives you all the various ways that you can donate, from check to cash to QR code to Zelle to text, anything you like. And then finally, we'd like to show our appreciation for those who have offered their time, talent, their presence to tonight's service. Our speaker, Judith Roberts, who is a religious science practitioner and was our meditator as well. Dorothy Mendez, practitioner emerita, who gave our opening prayer. Bonnie Gonzalez, religious science practitioner, who is going to give our closing prayer. Tonight's tech host, Freddie Lambright. And in the background, our administrative coordinator, Steve Carter, who helped us with the slides, and everybody who was present tonight, everybody who will be participating by listening to this recording in the future. Everyone's energy has participated to this service tonight, and we appreciate all of you. So now I'm going to transition over to Bonnie Gonzalez
Great.
for our
Thank you.
closing prayer.
Thank you so much. And I will be brief. I know our time is at hand, but I just want each person to just take a deep breath in and give yourself a big hug for showing up tonight. Give yourself a big hug for making you number one tonight, knowing that you could come here to be rejuvenated, to help you continue to stand firm while swaying. So give yourself a hug for that. Thank yourself for that. And with that, I say, thank you, thank you. It's with a heart of gratitude and with an attitude of gratitude that I bring this prayer to close us out. Just giving thanks for each person that shared, giving thanks for Judith Roberts in her in her yes, thanking her for her yes, and thanking the MC Ali, and also thanking the behind the scenes people that are here. And I just want, I want each person to remember, to just remember the beauty of tonight. Remember how you have stayed strong when the ground beneath you felt that it was moving and shaking, and knowing that in what is really anchoring each and every one of us during our time of need is the fact that we are grounded and rooted in the divine Holy Spirit, that is God that is holding us here right now. And as you go forth, remember, it doesn't stop here. You have just come here tonight to remember. To remember how great you are, to be reminded how the divine Holy Spirit of God is moving through your life. It's just a reminder of how great you are. And with that, just take away from this night your own greatness, but not only taking it away, sharing it with others, taking it out into the world. Others need to be reminded and to remember how great they are as individuals, and knowing that we're great in our individual rights, but we are better together. So with that, I just say thank you, thank you, thank you for the opportunity to be with my family here tonight. And I'm just going to release my word into law that always says yes, yes, yes. And I know that this prayer will not return null and void. And so with that, I release my word into law. And if you feel inclined, you can say it with me. And so it is.
And so
It
it
is.
is. Amen.
Thank you. Beautiful.
So it is, and so it is.
And
Thank
so
you.
it is.
Right.
A beautiful
And
prayer.
let's